PeerPressureOnline.com. Today we have a special programming where we're talking to youth about peer pressure and how it affects them today. On my side, we have Bria Banks and Tyrena Thrower. Now, I know you guys, y'all deal with a lot of things in life today, and for its peer pressure, and it affects you very, dearly to you. It's something that's very hard and dearly to you, and it's something that really affects your life. How does having good self-esteem play a good part in peer pressure?
It plays a good part because usually when you're in school, you see a lot of people who have low self-esteem that they really don't consider themselves the way that they should.
Right.
And having good self-esteem, you know that you don't have to change for anybody.
Right.
It's good, you just be yourself, and those who see you be yourself, they're trying to do the same thing about themselves as well.
Right. What about you, Tyrena?
It's good because when you have good, high self-esteem, then you think highly of yourself. You don't worry about what other people think, so you won't be forced to be in that situation because you're not thinking about what other people think about you. So it's easier.
Yeah, and it's also good to not have too high self-esteem because there are certain things that we can get too highly of ourselves in, and the Bible says that you ought not to think more highly of yourself than you ought to. So it's also good to have a medium in how your self-esteem is about yourself. What are some of the things that you have done or followed into as far as peer pressure and how did you handle it?
Well, I don't remember any of my stories, but I remember one time I didn't fall into it. I actually told her no.
Right.
It was I was walking with my friends to school, and they thought they were going to be late, so they told me to go through the path. My daddy told me not to go through the path because it's like really grassy, and and we have snakes in our neighborhood too. So my daddy told me not to go through the path, so they told me, "Turn, we need to go to the path because we'll be late." And I said no because it's only seven something, and they said, "No, we need to go to the path." And I was like, "No, y'all can go, and I'll meet y'all." And it takes the same amount of time, so it's like it doesn't really help much. So I was like, "No, y'all can go, and I'll go this way."
Yeah, that's good because many times anything can happen during those times when we make the wrong decision, because the Bible says that obedience is better than sacrifice. And once you go outside of the obedience of God, then you're sacrificing the presence of God around you. For you, the same question. How did you handle anything that peer pressure wise that maybe, or even if you did fall into it, how did you turn yourself around?
Well, for my example, the same as Tyrena's, I handled it a different way. I didn't fall into it. Like most of the people that I do hang out with, they're associates. They, of course, aren't saved. So you hear them cursing or they're doing things, talking about their relationships in many ways and things. And how sometimes they try to get me to do the same thing, but I tell them no. And as they see the difference in me, then they're like, well, wow, she's really different. They really try hard to get me to do something that I know I shouldn't do, which I say no to it. I keep to myself if I have to. And instead of doing what they do, I'll probably make a joke out of it in a saved way. Like I wouldn't say or do the things that they do, but I'll show them there's a whole different way to do it.
Yeah, because it's not about condemning them, it's about loving them into the position where they can get to where you are. Because it takes strength to do anything. To get up in the morning, it takes strength. To go to school every morning, because I know y'all deal with a lot of stuff. It takes strength just to get up in the morning and go to school. What are some of the things that you feel are important, and how are they important to having good parental guidance?
I think it's very important to have parental guidance, a strong parental guidance, because even as teenagers, sometimes we refuse to listen to our parents say because we think that they don't understand what we go through. But in truth, when we really think about it, they have been in the same situation that we have.
Y'all forget that we were younger at one time too.
It happens. But it's really good because a lot of people out there, they don't have parents the way we do, who cares about us and who actually wants the better for us. And they want to see us succeed in life instead of making mistakes over and over and over again. And as you look at the people around you who don't have parents like you do, and how you see them make mistakes, like some of them, they have sex and then they get pregnant, or they get some kind of disease, and you're like, oh, what if I would have fell in that kind of category? What would have happened to me? And all that kind of stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what do you feel about parents? How have your parents helped you to not go into so much peer pressure?
Like what Bria said, is good to have parents that we have because we can actually go and talk to them about anything.
Right.
And like when I have problems, I go to my dad because
Right.
he's like my counselor. Since
Right.
he's a counselor in the army.
Right.
Yeah, I go to my dad and I always talk to him about my problems if I think it's good enough.
You know, and you know, some people think, some children your age or some teens your age or some kids your age sometimes feel it's not cool to go to mom and dad and talk to them about issues. And they feel, and then many of them fall into situations where they shouldn't be in. Have your mom and dad ever talked to you about something that maybe you was about to do, and then change your mind because of the wisdom of your parents?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
No.
No, not really. Okay, but yeah, that's fine. You're younger right now. Once you get into teenager years, you'll start experiencing some of these things because we know our own will and we do want to do the things that we want to do. You know, and being a teenager, like, why can't I do this? You know, or why is this not permissible for me? And I think that was a great point that you brought up about sexual activity, because we got so many young people that have, that are falling into sexual activity because of peer pressure. Now, one of the issues that a lot of young ladies have is that they feel the pressure to look a certain way to meet the needs of their friends for them to appear a certain way. How do you handle that type of peer pressure?
I handle it just like how I handle other things. I don't really care. I like the way I look. I mean, I do get insecure from time to time, but
Right.
I always put it in my mind, well, God made me this way. Obviously, I'm beautiful,
Right.
just like everyone else in the world is beautiful. I think
Right.
everybody's beautiful. It doesn't matter who
Right.
you are, what race you are, or how you really look.
Right.
If you just be yourself, and that's
Right.
what makes you beautiful.
Right, because somebody like me. Somebody likes me. So how about you? How do you handle this type of situation?
Well, I really just don't think about it. I feel like if they have something to say, then just tell me and I'll just put a thought, but I don't really do nothing about it because your opinion doesn't matter. It's what I think about myself.
Right. It's about being strong. It's about being strong, right? It's about being strong and just knowing who you are, and just it's just like a rich person. They don't go around flaunting saying I'm a millionaire. They know they're a millionaire. When you know that you are something great, like the Bible says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. When you know that you're wonderfully made, then you don't have to worry about what nobody says, because you know God made you to be who you are for a purpose and a reason. How hard is it being saved and dealing with unsaved kids in your school?
It's very hard. It is very, very hard because it's like you're battling every time because they have spirits on them that aren't clean, and you're trying to keep your spirit clean, while also trying to convert them over to Christianity or to make them see a different picture of what they really do. Right. It's hard because you try to talk to them, but then sometimes they refuse to listen. Right. And you don't know what to do other than that, except for pray for them and pray that they do get right. In the best way.
But it's not. But you don't go at them in a negative way or a condescending way, saying, "Oh, you going to this place and you're going to that place." But it's more of a situation that I love you and I don't want to see you, in the situation that you're in, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about you? How do you live saved and in the environment that you live in, that you stay in?
I think about it sometimes, and it is hard because like I take some time from them. Like I need to be by myself a few times, and then I'll go hang back with them. But like when they start acting crazy, I can't do it.
Right. Yeah. Because some things, and it would just be real, but there's some things that you would like to do, and because we all go through that experience, we got things that we want to do and that we want to experience. But being who we are as Christians, we can't do a lot of the things that our peers are doing, and it affects us. And I know it affected me when I was young and everything, and knowing that I had told the Lord that I was going to give my life to Him. That it was hard because a lot of things that my friends were doing that I wanted to do, and I know that you guys have experienced the same thing in that manner. It's not easy just being yourself sometimes. Just being who God naturally made you to be. Why do many people hide who they are from the world because of they're afraid of showing the real person?